In the Amazon, the jaguar is almost a symbol of power. It does not hunt with speed, but with strength and silence. An adult jaguar can get extremely close to its prey without making a sound, then launch a short, explosive pounce, and once it bites down, its bite force is strong enough to pierce through bone, ending the struggle before the prey even has a chance to break free. And yet now, it seems to have become the prey of some mysterious species. Its body shows deep puncture wounds, with massive tears ripped into vital organs. So who is responsible? Let's track down the culprit together in this video. The Amazon ecosystem, a complex biological network stretching across 8 countries and covering about 40% of South America, is home to some of the fiercest survival battles on the planet. Here, the jaguar truly reigns at the very top of the food chain. Its killing method is completely different from that of other big cats. Lions or tigers usually finish their prey by clamping down on the throat, suffocating it. The jaguar does not choose that path. It evolved to deliver a direct bite to the skull or the back of the neck, targeting the central nervous system and ending the prey's life almost instantly. This power comes from a very unique head and jaw structure. The jaguar's skull is short and broad, forming a bone structure as solid as a press frame. Its jaw muscles may be shorter than those of many other big cats, but they are thicker and anchored more deeply, creating optimal leverage when the jaws close. The result is a bite that has been recorded at up to about 1,500 pounds per square inch, which is about 10,300 kilopascals. Relative to body size, this ranks at the very top among cats. This is a crushing kind of bite. Because of that, the jaguar does not only hunt soft prey like deer or wild pigs, it is also perfectly suited for tougher targets, species with heavy defenses such as turtles or armored reptiles. And it does not stop there. While most big cats tend to avoid water, the jaguar is an excellent swimmer. It treats rivers as part of its hunting territory, moving along the water's edge in search of opportunity. So which species is responsible for their deaths? The first suspect that grabs attention is the black caiman. In the Amazon, the moment a jaguar steps to the water's edge to drink or swims across a narrow stretch of river, it enters the territory of a perfect ambush predator. The black caiman is the largest reptile in this basin. A full-grown individual can exceed 16 feet in length, which is over 5 meters, and weigh several hundred pounds, meaning hundreds of kilograms. That size difference is not something a jaguar can simply overcome with a bite. In the water, the caiman only needs to stay hidden, wait for a split second of distraction, then strike with explosive speed. What follows is the death roll, powerful enough to break bones, tear muscle, and drag its victim into deep water. With thick armored skin, even a jaguar's crushing bite may fail unless it lands perfectly the first time. Another highly suspicious predator is the green anaconda. In flooded forest, it can become almost invisible beneath murky water. If a jaguar stumbles into a sudden encounter and the snake manages to coil around its chest or abdomen, the fight can flip instantly. The jaguar can bite, but delivering a quick killing strike to a long, muscular, constantly moving body is extremely difficult. The anaconda only needs to tighten its coils, slowly shutting down circulation in near silence. But when you look closely, neither scenario truly fits. An anaconda that kills such a large animal would usually keep the body to swallow, because that is too big a reward to abandon. Yet here, there is no sign of feeding or guarding behavior. The death appears fast, not like a prolonged constriction. As for the black caiman, we would expect drag marks toward the river, churned mud along the bank, or clear signs the jaguar was pulled into deep water. Those clues are missing. So the killer likely did not come from below the surface. It may have been a land threat, something that brought down the jaguar, not because it was weak, but because it stepped into a situation where its strength was no longer an absolute advantage. At this point, you might think what I am thinking. The peccary herd deserves a spot on the suspect list. In the Amazon, peccaries are not predators, but they can turn a hunt into chaos. They move in tight groups, almost like a single unit. When cornered, the entire herd can shift into extreme defense mode. For a predator like the jaguar, this is dangerous prey. One miscalculation and the hunter becomes the injured one. On paper, peccaries have motive. Jaguars often target weaker or isolated individuals. But if one charges at a strong adult right in the center of the formation, the herd will not scatter. It will turn and surround. Peccaries have powerful jaws, sharp tusks, and most importantly, numbers. They do not need a precise killing technique. Repeated charges, bites, and heavy blows to the thighs, abdomen, or hips can cripple a jaguar. In dense rainforest, even a leg injury can become a death sentence because it can no longer hunt. However, the wound pattern tells a different story. A retaliating peccary herd usually leaves many shallow, repeated bite marks, the kind you would expect from a group assault. Injuries tend to be scattered and concentrated on the limbs and softer areas, suggesting a prolonged struggle. Here, the scene looks more like a short but extremely violent encounter, as if everything ended within moments. Instead of numerous scattered wounds, the marks suggest fewer but deeper, more decisive strikes. And if a herd had truly brought the jaguar down, there should be signs of pursuit and sustained pressure across the ground. Those signs are not present. So while peccaries are terrifying in theory, in this case they do not match the most critical clue, the absence of clear group attack evidence. That makes a wild pig herd an unlikely culprit. When you really think about it, the jaguar may have lost because it closed in on the wrong opponent, one capable of delivering a counterstrike deep enough to end everything in an instant. And there is one more crucial detail to consider. It was killed, but not eaten afterward. That strongly suggests this was never a hunt in the first place, but a violent clash that escalated beyond control. At this point, one name flashes in my mind: the giant anteater. You might be laughing at the idea right now, but take a second and really think it through. This unlikely suspect actually fits every single piece of the puzzle far better than it first appears. The giant anteater has no teeth. Its eyesight is poor. It spends most of its life searching for ants and termites. But what makes it dangerous is not its mouth. It is its arms. Each forelimb carries claws that can grow to about 4 inches long, which is roughly 10 centimeters, designed to rip open termite mounds as hard as concrete. When cornered, it can rear up on its hind legs, lifting its body to nearly 6.5 feet tall, which is close to 2 meters, and turn those arms into a crushing trap. This move is often called the death embrace. It grabs the attacker and drives its claws deep into the chest, abdomen, or throat. A single well-placed slash to a major artery can end a fight in seconds. In South American folklore, there are stories of jaguars and giant anteaters found dead locked in each other's arms, a strange and haunting image. Verified scientific records of a giant anteater actively killing a jaguar are extremely rare. However, documented cases show that this defensive strike is powerful enough to kill hunting dogs and even seriously injure hunters who get too close. In other words, it is not a predator, but when forced, it can become a living weapon. It also has an overlooked advantage. Its body is covered in thick, coarse fur, and the skin around its neck is tough. That does not make it invincible, but it can delay a killing bite just long enough to gain a few critical seconds to rear up. And once it rises, the rules of the fight change instantly. When you connect all the clues, a short and violent encounter, no signs of feeding, wounds that look like decisive strikes, and a suspect with a lethal defensive mechanism, the conclusion becomes clear. The true culprit is the giant anteater. The jaguar may be the king of ambush, but if it moves in 1 second too late or misjudges the distance, it can still fall to an opponent that is not hunting at all, only defending itself with its deadly embrace. If you know any surprising facts about the giant anteater, share them in the comments so everyone can learn more. Thank you for watching. Goodbye, and I will see you in the next videos.